Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You are back at your favorite podcast, the best place on the planet, the place where the conversations are what? Pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Brains, I've been waiting for this interview. I want to share this amazing woman's story with you. A story of huge success, socialite, popularity, nonprofit, money, influence, and then turned on its head into confusion, chaos, deception, and incarceration. And now we're going to talk about redemption, getting a second chance, learning your lesson. Some lessons are taught, some are bought. She has encapsulated all of this in a great story in her book. We're going to talk to her about this and a whole lot more. Connie Paglianiti from Australia. And she is a wonderful soul. She is. So, you can watch with judgment if you want to, but those live in a glass house. They should not throw stones. And I'm excited to talk to her about it. And I see that she's just a wonderful person. I met her online. So let's have a conversation with Connie Paglianiti. How are you, baby?
Hello, April. I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you for this great opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been waiting for this. I'm excited. I'm going to promote the heck out of this because I want to see you win. So tell my brains a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
A little bit about myself. I had multifaceted careers in my life, but I've always been doing charity work and events since at the age of 18. But in 2008, I actually turned that into a company. And part of my vision was to bring the modern Italy into Australia. And I met this young man at the time in around 2011, whom I thought had the same vision as myself. And so I went into a business relationship with him. Prior to this, I was doing huge festivals in Little Italy in Melbourne, doing charity functions, and it was going really, really well. So when I met this guy, I was really, really excited, thinking, wow, we're going to do bigger and better things, not realizing that this person was going to be what destroyed not only my career, my financial stability, my reputation with the community, but my freedom. I ended up going to jail because through this relationship, he left me so much debt that I didn't know how to pay it. I paid most of it, but it was over $1 million Australian dollars. So I stole money from a dear client of mine to pay for that. That got me so depressed, and I spiraled into a gambling addiction. So then I was stealing money to pay for the gambling addiction. And eventually I got caught. All the so-called friends that were around me because of my events, I had Hollywood listers into Melbourne, like Susan Sarandon, Sophia Loren, Goldie Hawn, Jane Seymour as my guests. They were swarming around me like bees to honey. But when all this happened in 2018, when I got caught, and then 2019, when I went to jail, all these people deserted me. They were no longer my friends. They were ashamed to be seen with me or talking to me. In actual fact, there was one particular person who said to a mutual friend of ours, "Why are you still talking to that criminal?" And that broke me up. I think that's when it really hit me home, because I thought, I've been there for you through thick and thin. And now I made one mistake and you're calling me a criminal. Yes, I did commit a crime, but I didn't consider myself a criminal as such. I don't know whether that was me looking through rose-colored glasses or not. Until today, I don't believe I'm a criminal. I made a mistake, a huge one, a devastating one, not only for me, but for my clients, for my family, and for the community.
What do you consider
So,
a criminal? What do you consider a criminal?
oh, that's a really hard question to answer, and I'm going to answer you honestly. I believe criminals are the ones that don't learn through their mistakes, that keep doing the same thing over and over again, that hurt other people physically, mentally, psychologically, etc. But I believe that people do stuff up in life, some bigger than others. Mine was huge. Should my crime dictate the rest of my life? I've made one mistake. I shouldn't have to pay for that for the rest of my life or anybody else.
Right.
Actually, somebody asked me the other day, would you give somebody a third chance? You talk about second chances. Will you give somebody a third chance? And I had to think about that one. And I thought, again, it depends. Because sometimes it takes one, two chances before you actually learn what you've done wrong, to actually sit back and think, my God, I did it. So sometimes you do need that third chance. But if you keep doing it over and over 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, then to me, that can turn you into a criminal if you killed somebody, if you've molested kids. And to me, they are very, very severe crimes.
Well, this is just my spin on it.
Yep.
A criminal is a person that commits a crime.
Yep.
Now, to what degree should they be criminalized or punished?
Mm.
Subjective. I
Yep.
get that. I think it's a label. I think it's a title. I think
Mm.
there's a lot of shame associated with it. There's a lot of
100%.
guilt associated with it, but there's ownership. And it's like people. This kind of gets to me when people are recovering from alcohol or drug addiction or gambling.
Yes. Mm.
The first thing they say is, "Hi, I'm April and I'm an alcoholic," or
Yes.
"Hi, I'm Betty and I'm an alcoholic." You are not the same person that you are today that you were yesterday,
No.
or that you will be tomorrow.
No.
So I understand what you're saying. I've got an enormous amount of empathy for you because you made a mistake.
Mm.
I've got somebody that's just made a mistake with me, two people that made similar mistakes back to back, huge mistakes. And I'm going to forgive, but I'm never going to forget, nor am I ever going to trust. How do you feel about your dear friend that you betrayed? And we betrayed, I don't know. Was it because it was easy access? Because you really didn't think it would hurt them? Or you really weren't thinking at all? Or the addiction overcame your better judgment? Which one of those might you pick?
My addiction just overcame everything. And to this day, it is one of my biggest regrets in life that I hurt this amazing person who had been my client for over 20 years
Hmm.
at the time, trusted me with his finances, his life, and I betrayed that trust. But addiction took over and I couldn't see myself a way out. I thought that I could pay him back. How the hell, thinking back now, would I have repaid him back even if I had won money at the slot machine? How would I put it back? I don't think I was thinking straight.
If you spend $1 million at the slot machines, girl, I get bored after about $150. I'm bored with it. But I
But it
can.
depends which. I always believe that addiction, it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol, drugs, or gambling, there's a reason why you go there. And my reason was in the public eye, I had this happy go lucky, successful woman facade. And the only place that I could actually take that down was in front of those machines because I didn't have to think.
Hmm.
I didn't have to worry. The flashing lights just kept flashing and just kept me enticing. I could stay there for hours and hours and hours.
Really? So a
Unfortunately, yes.
certain chemicals fired in your brain when you were in front of the machine. I've got a family member that's
Yeah.
addicted to gambling as
Yeah.
well too. And
Machines are no different to alcohol, are no different to drugs. They all harm the brain.
well, let me ask you this question. Have you been able to face the person that you violated?
No, for two reasons. One, I was told that I couldn't contact him. That was first and foremost through the courts. So I've abided by those laws in Australia. I did write him a letter at the time, which was given from my lawyer to his lawyer. And he came back to me from his lawyer to my lawyer that I only did it to get out of jail or get a lighter sentence. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I really, really felt bad about it. He didn't deserve it.
Hmm.
My family didn't deserve it. The community didn't deserve it. Did I deserve the time in jail? Yes, I did.
So
And I paid for it.
let's move to that a little bit. I'm sure that was quite a shocker. Did going from a life of opulence, champagne, crystal glasses, to dungarees and 10 toilets?
Yeah, that was an absolute shock. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks to get over it. And actually, even by the time I got out, I still not over it. I was watching a movie, started watching a TV series last night called Adolescence.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know of it. It's about a little
Adolescence.
boy.
I think it's on. I think it's on Netflix, but I haven't watched it
Yes,
yet.
it is. I started watching it last night, and let me tell you, when they took that little boy into that jail cell, it brought it all back for me. And I actually cried, and I still cry because it brought it all back. Just the scary part being locked away. I went to jail during COVID, and Victoria, Melbourne was locked away for nearly 2 years due to our government. So I wasn't even allowed to see my family.
Um, no, no, no. I can't. I can imagine that you were lost and lonely. Is it a scary place, Connie?
Absolutely, because where I come from in Melbourne, we've got two women's jails. We've got the high security, and then you've got the low security, which is in a country town. But you don't go to the low security until much later. So
Mm.
when you first go in, it's a high security. So you've got murderers, you've got drug traffickers, you've got everybody under the sun in there, pedophiles. Um, so I was put in there for about 5 weeks, and eventually they moved me to the lower security one. And to me, that was even worse because I got bullied there badly by 6 women and officers. Officers had this idea that because we did white crime, collar work, crime,
White collar crime.
yeah, they thought we were self-entitled, and that was far from the truth. The other women that were prisoners, like myself, they had this problem and issue with my sentence because for the amount of money that I stole, I got a reasonably good sentence. It was 2.5 years on the bottom, 4.5 years on the top. I'm not sure if you know what that means, but basically, if you're good in jail, they will release you at your earliest, and then the rest of the time you do on parole. So I was released at my earliest, thank God. They were jealous of the sentence because, like I said, I did about 10 times the amount of what they stole, but they got more than I did. And the reason why that happened is because I have been doing charity work all my life since I was 18, like I said. So at the age of 60, when I went to court, not only had I done community work all my life and I had certificates from the government, councils, etc., and charities, but I saw I'd never committed a crime in my life. I'd never stolen a pen. let alone money. So they were extremely, extremely jealous. So I got really badly bullied.
Well, I'm sorry. Did they physically try to assault you? And
No, no, it was all psychological. They didn't assault me physically, no, because then it shows, but it was just the
well,
nastiness behind
psychological
it.
torture is could be worse than physical torture.
Yeah,
At
it
least
was.
a
Yeah,
bruise or a cut will heal,
yeah,
but what is penetrated and ingrained in your mind.
yeah.
All right. So let's move fast forward from all of that. You said you were 60 years old.
I was actually 61 when I went into jail. I got caught at 60, but then it took 12 months to go through courts. And at 61, I ended up in jail. So I actually spent my 61st birthday in jail. And I came out with 3 years, actually 3 years ago today, I came out.
Yeah.
And then I had to do 18 months of parole. I haven't been gambling for my 7 years. And last night, for the first time, we went to a venue, which I didn't know, but it actually had slot machines.
Oh boy.
I was fine.
You were fine.
I was absolutely fine. When we found out, my husband said, and my son, "Are you okay to go in?" And I said, "Look, I don't know. Let's try it." And I went in and I was fine. Didn't even think about them.
Wow. That's a blessing. Did you go through
Yes.
counseling or therapy, or was there any sort of
Yes, I'm still in counseling. Instead of going once every week or every fortnight, now I go every 5, 6 weeks. I still go to counseling today.
okay.
But we mainly talk about other things rather than gambling, because I really believe that the issue I had when I went into gambling is no longer there.
Mhm.
And I'm one of those people that I make one mistake once, I never make the same mistake twice.
Right.
I'm very wary of people now, whereas before I used to be very, very trusting of anybody.
Well,
If you told me something, I'd believe you because I wouldn't lie to you. So why would you lie to me?
no, oh no, I don't trust folks. I'm
Well,
very true. Yeah, I start, I tell people all the time, I think that you're, great from the onset, but to give you 100% of my trust, loyalty in one basket,
yeah,
I keep an eye on checks that I write. But in this day of technology, it is a point and a click. People say, "Oh, I'm trying to preserve my anonymity." You can't do it.
no.
It's just you're out there, you're exposed. You've
Yeah,
been
and
to
that's
the
what people
wrong.
said. Why don't you change your name? Because I've actually kept my maiden name.
Mhm.
But I said, I can't, even if I wanted to, which I didn't, right? My face has been everywhere. It was all over the news.
I Googled you, and it was pretty shocking, even for the reporters
Yep,
that wrote about the story. All right,
yep.
so let's move beyond that. That was a chapter in your life, chapter, verse, paragraph. Tell us about your book, Shadows. I'm sorry, I can't see the full title. It is
It's from the shadows into the light.
From the Shadows into the Light.
To the light. Yeah. So basically, it goes through my life because I came from a domestic violent family, being from an Italian family. My dad was very, very strict. So there was a lot of violence in growing up till the age of 23 when I left home. My our trip to Australia when I was 11, and so I went from there to when I came out from jail and what I'm doing now. So I've gone through the different decades in there, including some of my events.
Were you from a family that was of means?
No,
Okay.
no, we came from a very poor family in the south of Italy. That's the reason why mum and dad moved over to Australia. They were just low blue collar workers.
Do you think, looking back on it, that that was also a part of maybe a little bit of an entitlement type of thing? And the reason why I say that is that, okay, you come from very modest means, and then you are catapulted into the limelight of, I mean, I've been to Australia, Hollywood, California. There is some big money there and a lot of influence, a lot of prestige. And now you're kind of floating through that as one of them. And Brains, let me tell you something. I will say this, that is an illusion.
Mm.
Do you think some of these people that have $1 trillion, $1 billion, You look in their wallet right now, you probably wouldn't find $150 cash. It is inflated. It is ambiguous. People are drawn to this. It is an illusion. It's trickery. Now, there are some very genuine people. Don't get me wrong. There are
Mm.
some people that really do have opulence, but rich people don't talk about it.
No,
Wealthy
they
people,
don't.
they don't flaunt it. They
No.
don't need to because it is about self worth. And
Yes.
again, when your self worth was attacked, not your bank account, which that was impacted too, but when your sense of who I am, what I represent, what I do, once that was diminished, the whole thing went awry.
Mm.
And that's what I hope people look at is, who are you when they talk about your authentic self? Folks send their representative all
Mm.
the time, every day. When you go in a business meeting, you don't bring your authentic self, you bring your representative.
Mm.
Living that imposter syndrome is hard to get over. How can you be trusted now doing similar types of things with new clients and new opportunities? What would you say to a person that's a little sketchy?
And that's been hard. It's been hard to find work for 2.5 years in jail and then 2.5 years locked myself away because I couldn't find work. Nobody would give me an opportunity. Even handing out pamphlets, I got rejected. I got the job, and within 3 days, they called me to find out what my crime was. And they said, I'm sorry, but we have to retract the position. And that was handing out pamphlets at a state election.
Hmm.
I burst into tears and basically I said, what do you think I'm going to steal pamphlets? I'm still the same honest person that I was many, many years ago until this happened. I will not steal. I don't steal from my family. I don't steal from friends. I don't borrow from friends. I did steal from this client. And like I said, to the day I die, it's the one regret in my life that I will never be able to get over it. And I understand if he can't forgive me. I totally understand.
I think it's the hurt,
Yeah.
and that's where I am. It's not the money, you know.
I
It's
killed
not.
his trust in people.
Yeah. You trust in
Mm.
people, but again, trust is a big $25 word, and it is contingent on a lot of other things.
Mm.
Okay, so now you have made a mistake. You have paid in the court of law. You've paid with your reputation, with your relationships.
Mm.
But now it's a matter of trust. And people will say, "Oh, I can't trust her." Well, you didn't give her a chance to show her redemption. Number
Mm.
one, and that's where we are now. Number two, trust is conditional. I don't trust you if you don't do X, Y, Z. I don't trust you if you say you've done this and you change your mind.
Mm.
I don't trust you if you don't show up. You know, trust is based upon expectations of what is possible and what you
Yeah.
have done. So, Brains, when you tell someone that you trust them, be careful about what you're saying and be clear about what you're saying.
Mm.
It's 100%. No,
Mm.
I don't. My
No.
husband, I trust 100% until he proves something different.
Mm.
My kids, I don't even trust them 100% because they're kids, they don't have a lot of life experience.
Mm.
So that word trust is very, very heavy duty.
Mm.
And I do believe in a God of second chances because sometimes you don't get it the first time or you
No.
got it and give me a chance to make redemption.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to work the mechanics of that. So now you've been through all of this and you look fabulous. And I'm
Thank you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And I think that you are a wonderful person. And yes, you made a mistake, and I believe that you deserve a second chance. Um, your expertise and your skill and your love and your passion is not diminished.
No.
Your level of excellence. Okay, maybe the CEO of the company and we'll have an outside company do the finance. How about that? But give her a chance. Let's
I
talk.
don't really want to go back into finance, April.
No,
I
no, I'm
actually,
saying I'm saying that if you took, got another
yeah.
event planning business, you
Mm.
can be the face, but let somebody else handle the finance.
Mm.
And brains, be responsible for your own thing. Checks and balances. Watch and see what's going on. But I want to move beyond that, Connie, because I want to hear about what you're doing now. What type of events are you looking for? And what gave you the courage to step back into that?
What did it was back in October 2023, I found out my mum didn't have long to live, and she was my greatest supporter. She got diagnosed with ovarian cancer,
Mm.
and I knew she wouldn't be with us for too long, but we didn't know how long. Unfortunately, she died within 3 months. So I basically sat down and thought to myself, okay, do you want to be stuck in these four walls and not see the world? Or do you want to get out there? So I decided to go back to university at the age of 66.
Mm.
So I'm graduating at the end of April.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
and, and although I didn't need that piece of paper, I needed it for credibility and authority because I want to run an online event management course and coach others to do amazing events that people will talk for years and years and years later. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. That's one thing. And the other thing I'm doing too is public speaking, getting on stage, talking to people about giving people a second chance, um, trying to help them with people with addiction, especially gambling. I'm actually a respin speaker, which is part of Gamblers Help program. So I'll go out on their behalf and talk to Headspace, Salvation Army, and so on. And now I've just written another book. I finished it during the week, and it's about the four E's. And the four E's are, it's basically called Chainless and Fearless, the four E's of transformation. And the four E's are employment, education, empowerment, and environment. If you can give people those four things in life, they will get over their addiction 99% of the time. They will get on with their life. They will contribute to society. They won't be going back to jail. Because I know with me, if I didn't have the support I had out here with my husband, my son, and my mum,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been homeless.
Right.
And what would have happened if you're homeless? You would steal again and you'd go back in. I want to try and stop that. I want to try and stop the revolving door. So my message is to employers, HR, corporates, give these people a second chance because let me tell you, they become the most loyal employees you'll ever have. Do you know why? Because you took a chance on them. You've given them a second opportunity to get on with their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they will stay for you and
They will
work
stick
with
with
you.
you. They will.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
will. And they'll
There's
be honest.
gratitude.
Mm-hmm. They'll be honest with you too, you
Yeah,
know?
100%.
So, well, okay, well, let's ask you some fun questions. If you were not in the meeting and planning and event industry, what would you like to do?
Well, when I was growing up, and we had our first TV set in Italy, it was black and white, it was 1967, and I saw movies on the set. I wanted to be an actress and a singer, the old musicals, the old musical stars.
Right.
So, so I did do some acting in my youth, but it took a lot of hiding and seek with my dad because he didn't believe in women going into that field. But that was my dream. It always has been, and I think that's what took me to events. And I think that's why I did events with Hollywood stars like Susan, like Sophia, like Goldie, because I love movies. I've got a passion for movies.
Well, I just got a download. Oh, God, it just gave me goose pimples. You should turn this into a stage play or a monologue. You got to let your pain sometimes be your payday. And this is a story of redemption. This is a story of courage. This is, it does not lack luster. I could
Mhm.
see it. I could see it. Something to think about.
Well,
Your
it's funny
relationship.
because I have.
Yeah, well,
I've been thinking about a a Netflix series,
yeah.
and I was thinking of sending the book to Nicole Kidman because she actually supports a lot of Australian writers.
Send it there.
Mm.
And again, manifest what you want because
Yeah.
you were redeemed for a reason. God was more than good because jail is not for sissies, okay? And to be able to get through that mentally and come back and still have a husband. How did this impact your relationship?
I did tell my husband when I was in jail to move on. I think I said it twice to him over the phone. And basically he said, I'm not going anywhere. This is not the Connie I know, because I met him through my charity work
Oh, wow.
back about 30 years ago. And
Mm.
I met him at 38. We got married at 42, and I had my son at nearly 45. It's a joke. I do everything late. It should have been married at 38. Sorry, meeting husband at 38, married at 42, baby at 45, jail at 61. Because honestly, yeah, people don't believe it. Yeah, I do everything late.
Your son, was it hard to explain to him as to what happened, why it happened, and why it won't happen again?
Do you know what? I have been so lucky in having my son. He would have to be one of the most intelligent, grown up kids you've ever met. Being an only child, he was always used to adult conversations. So we never spoke to him like a baby. So he was 15 when I got served the papers. He actually opened the door and they asked for me. So he called me out. So I went to the door and they said, Are you Connie Paglianiti? And I said, Yes, I am. They go, You've been served. I
Mm.
took the papers, slammed the door, and went into my room. And I tried to hide it. My husband and my son followed in the bedroom. And they sat down and they said, What have you been served with? And I said, No, 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 nothing. Don't worry. It's nothing. No, what have you been served with? They had to insist for me to even say what it was. Do you know what my son's first words were?
No.
Mum, don't do anything stupid. I need my mother.
Mm.
And I will never forget those words, ever. It still makes me tingle every time I think about it. It makes me teary. How a 15-year-old kid can do that, can say that, can think that.
That's right, because he knows who you are in your heart.
Yeah.
You are his mother. You are nothing else outside of these circumstances.
And look, all my long-standing friends have all stuck by me. It's only the new ones that sort of were around for the events. They sort of disappeared. But all my friends from school still around, from work still around.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And
Yeah.
then they will help you, again, rebuild this to the next great thing because there
Mm.
are great things in store for you.
Yeah.
What would you tell a person that is struggling right now, just down on their luck, and maybe they are, looking for an out, be it gambling, sex addiction, drugs? What would you say to that woman right now?
Reach out for help. That was one of my biggest mistakes. I tried to hide it and I did a very good job. I think my acting skills came into it. Ask for help. There's always somebody there to help. If you haven't got anyone close by, go to an organization that does that. But ask for help. Just remember that vulnerability is not weakness. It's actually power. And admitting it is actually power. So ask for help. That's all I can say. People
Exactly.
will help you.
I tell people when you own it,
Yeah.
it's no longer the elephant in the room,
No.
you know? And again,
Yeah.
you don't have to wear it everywhere you go.
No.
It's a part of who you are, it is a part of your story,
Yeah.
but it's a part of your testimony too, because now you were able to share that with others.
Yes.
So, Connie, if you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
I love orchids.
Oh,
It's unusual, I know, but that was the flower I got married with, that my bouquet and flowers on the table. And it was very hard because I got married in February, being hot here in Australia. So
okay.
it was very hard to get them, but we got them. But orchids are my favorites.
If you could go back and create this, or go forward and create this wonderful event, what would that event look like right now? What is something that you'd like to create?
I like to think outside the box. I'll give you an example. I got asked to do an exhibition in China, and they asked me to do the Italian pavilion. And I don't know if you go to a lot of exhibitions, but they're quite boring, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes, and there's those summer booths. So I thought, what spells out to people Italy? So I actually had the Colosseum built.
Oh my
And
goodness.
inside the Colosseum was the Trevi Fountain. And the little nooks of the Colosseum were the exhibitors' booths. So we had cooking, we had music, we had dancing, we had food, we had fashion, and we had the Trevi Fountain. So that's the type of things that I like to do. I like to think outside the box. Give me an idea and I'll run with it. And then another time, I also built the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which
Oh,
was showcased here in Melbourne in 2018. But then I got caught, unfortunately. But I was getting built a Taj Mahal
oh wow.
and the Leaning Tower of Pisa because I was doing Carnevale, which is the masquerade ball from Venice, bringing it into here. And I was doing Italy meets India.
Wow.
So I
So
had,
these are big $1 million events, multi-million
mm,
dollar events.
yeah,
Wow. That's great. So if you were an appliance in the kitchen of all places, what appliance would you be?
an espresso machine because I love my short blacks. Can't live without it.
Oh, that's good.
You didn't expect that, did you?
I didn't. If you could time travel, go back to the past, stay in the present, project to the future, no judgment, no recollection of what you've done or what lies ahead, where would you land?
I'd probably go back to prior to meeting this person and take a different road.
Well, it's hard because we base our information and our data on the representative that they bring.
Mm.
Now, you were in business with this person for a while. They didn't just come in and all of a sudden abracadabra yank the rug from up under you, did they?
No, it was actually very quick. It
Oh,
was within
really?
12 months.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
It
Was
was
that because you were overly trusting? Was that because there was an exciting opportunity?
all of
Were
the
you not
above.
paying attention? Really?
All of the above. He told me that his father was the richest man in Italy and nothing moved outside Italy unless his dad gave the seal of approval.
Hmm.
And we wanted to get exhibitors here from Italy. So I believed him. Except when I went to investigate it, his father worked in a little Fiat factory in the little town that they come from. And his mum was just, I wouldn't say, but she was just the wife, the housekeeper basically in the house. And his sister worked in a pharmacy part time. So he wasn't who he said it was. But he told everybody that he was such and such, and people believed him.
Right. Well, that's like that big investor, Bernie Madoff. Everybody believed him and gave him his life savings and all that.
Mm,
It's checks and balances. Some
yeah,
people you get by choice, other
yeah,
people you get by default.
yeah.
And so it's good to have a little skepticism, you know.
Yeah, and after him, I had another four people that came into my life. One was an American, actually. Um, he ran away with money that I paid for Alec Baldwin to come out, and Alec Baldwin cancelled the event 4 weeks before it was due. I'd already paid him all the fees and never got him back. Took the guy to court in California. I won the case, but I didn't get it back.
Wow.
It was, I think it was a period of time once the first one happened, is that I don't know what happened to my judgment, to my vision, but I must have walked around town saying, I'm a loser, I'm a sucker, because I seemed to grab five of them, one after another.
Wow. That's tragic. And then yeah, I
Yeah.
could see one of my friends hosted a big event here, charity event, and I told her the person that was helping her. I said, there's something about her. I discern people very well. I
Yeah.
said, something about her that's not right. Oh, honey, she's the real deal. She's the
Yeah.
real deal. I said, oh, she's the real deal, huh?
Yeah.
Well, she embezzled a lot of money from the event from her. And then
Mm.
the entertainment that came ran amok at the hotel and had all their friends come in and left them with a big bill. So
Mm.
it's hard, and we want to be trusting human beings. We want to be loving human beings. We want to accept people at face value.
Yeah.
But the world is just different now.
But
It
the
is.
sad part is my son actually told me not to trust these people. He didn't like them.
Mm,
Did not like them one bit.
yeah. Kids and dogs,
Yes.
they will sniff it
Yeah.
out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It doesn't take them long. Listen to your kids and your dog's reaction.
Yeah. 100%.
So tell us about what's on the horizon for Connie Paglianiti. Um,
Okay. I want to get on the TEDx stage.
really?
That's what I'm working towards. I want to get the message out to the the corporate community, the business community, about putting the 4E's into implementation, because I really think people need help. Like I always say, there's three types of people: people that shouldn't be in jail, that should be in rehab, people that should be in jail to pay for their crime, and people that should never be released from jail.
Mm,
All right. But the first two need help,
right.
and it will be good for the community as well. Can you imagine what money the government would be saving
Right.
by not having all these prisons
Mhm.
and by these people actually working and contributing to society and the taxes?
But it's about rehabilitation, and
There is no rehabilitation in
that's
jail,
what I
not
said.
here.
No, not anywhere. And you
Yeah.
become that caged animal mentality.
Yeah.
I've got a family member, bless his heart, he had mental challenges from the time he was a child. He does not know how to survive, Connie,
Yeah.
on the outside.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to hold a job, pay a rent. You know what was really even sad? He did not know how to open a letterbox.
Yeah.
I sent him downstairs. I said, will you go put this in the mailbox for me? He
Yeah.
came back with the letter. And I said, well, what happened? I didn't know where it went. I'd never seen one of those before.
Yeah.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
The world is passing them by. And, you know, privatized prisons here make a lot of money.
Yep.
We've got a lot going on with um, people that are being deported.
Mm.
Their rights are being exploited. There's a lot of shame associated, especially around women. If
Yeah.
a man, he'll go into a corporate office, he'll put on a suit, someone will
Mm.
be able to have coached him through the interviewing and the questioning and
Mm.
answering why he was incarcerated, and he'll get a job driving a truck or shipping, or
Yeah.
you never know. He could be the president of the United States.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, but then you've got a woman.
yeah.
There is a stigma around her. Oh, she's a mother, she's a woman, she's a female. How
Yeah.
dare she do this? Blah, 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 blah. So we have to get rid of the stigma. So if there's a lot
100%. Yeah.
of women out there, you know, Connie, you could
Yeah.
have a wonderful agency that would just work directly with getting mainstream organizations, companies, groups, and women to give a second chance, because you deserve a
Yep.
second chance. And
Yeah.
I
And
believe.
look, us women, like I couldn't do the physical work I mean, you get a white, I don't know if you know what a white card is. It gives you a card to go and work on the building sites.
Okay.
I'm 4'10",
Oh, wow.
right? I'm only a shorty. There's no way I can do the physical work at 67.
Right.
I couldn't do it in my 20s, that sort of work. So you need to be able to give anybody, not just women, but even men, um, that you've got to equip them with something one they enjoy, and they can earn some money for the family
Right.
or pay rent, get a roof over their head.
A living
Even
wage. A living
yeah,
wage.
yeah. But unfortunately, they put you in jail. I mean, the amount of young women that I met that had kids outside that couldn't even cook. They could not even cook an egg.
Wow.
And that was really, really sad. Some couldn't even write. I had to write some letters for a few people, and there was some that I had to show them how to cook. And at 30 odd years old, so as anybody, men or women, you should be able to cook something basics, especially if you've got children.
Right.
But they weren't, and they didn't teach you.
No, they don't.
They prefer you being on drugs in there so you can sleep your day away.
Was there a lot of mayhem and stuff that went on behind the scenes? I know you tried to keep your nose clean, but of course you can't not know what was going on.
You did know what was going on, but I chose my friends in there very, very carefully. I tried to be nice to everybody, but I only had probably about two, three people I actually had some confidence in, and three of them are out now with me, and we're still friends.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's beautiful. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
So
So,
tell us how to get a copy of the book and how to connect with you for a speaking engagement or the next great fantasy event.
okay. Well, if you go to conniepaglianiti.com, you'll see the book is up there, coming out for release soon. So just send a message. Um, you can send me a message through there as well for booking engagements for speaking. There is another page where is for the event sites. I keep the two separate, and that's WeSocialise with an S, the English spelling.com.au.
Brains, go in and take a look at it. Purchase a
Yep.
copy of the book. Wait for the Netflix series because this is really I'm putting it out there. I am. And I've got people that are in entertainment that are looking for great opportunities, so you never know.
We might
Um,
have to talk, April. You can be
Absolutely.
my you can be my agent.
Oh gosh. They call it Holly weird for a reason, and you know what I mean, okay? Um, but again, thank you so much for sharing your story.
My
I
absolute pleasure,
I could
April.
tell,
Thank you.
yeah, I could tell so many times that you were tender and you were back at that place, and I can't imagine you 4'10" being this mom gangster.
No, I actually don't like violence. I got brought up with violence, and there's no way. I've never hit my child ever. There's
Mm-mm.
always different ways you can discipline children, but I don't like violence in any possible way. Yeah, I think there's other ways you can do things.
And for anyone that is having problems with gambling, I'm going to go ahead and post the number to Gamblers Anonymous here on the back that you can talk to it. Again, gambling is very far fetched for me, but it's something that is a distraction that can overrule your better judgment, make you do things totally out of character that you didn't think about. So if you feel that you have drugs, alcohol, pornography, sex addiction, pedophilia, any of these things, narcissism, there are people and there are groups and organizations. You're not alone.
No,
You're not alone. And what you're doing is spiraling you out of control. It's not going to be for your greater good. But I'm so glad that, again, that you're here with us, Connie, and that you shared your story
thank you.
and that you are on the other side of that.
No,
I see great things in your future. It's not
thank you.
over yet. This was just, you know, I tell my kids sometimes some things in life you got to pay for.
Mm.
Everybody's, nobody would have ever told you about this experience. You would have never believed it if they had told you.
Well, my mum didn't believe it. She
Yeah,
she was absolutely shocked.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I have this thing I call show and tell. Life can show you, better than I can tell you.
yeah.
Brains, go in and listen to other great edgy conversations from some of our guests there in Australia. I just had a woman on my show that has a female escort service that is like coup de grace. I've got physical therapists. I've got quantum physics. I've got love. I've got redemption. Um, there's a whole lot of stuff. Over 2,000 episodes. I need you to love, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, raise those numbers. Thank you, Connie, so much.
Thank you so
We are
much.
going to now. You can purchase your book on Amazon, correct?
It will be on Amazon, yes.
It'll be on Amazon. Okay, and Brains,
Yes.
we want you to go in and take a look at that. Did you do an audio version?
Not at the moment.
Okay. The book
I
is,
think, yeah.
yeah. So we'll be looking for that and we'll be playing this over and over again. And I want you to invite me to your next big soiree. Okay.
I will.
All right.
Thanks, April. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I love you, Brains. Take care of yourself. Pay attention.